particularly with regards to the health system and that misfortunate story there with the mother and her son. A lot of texts on that. However, in other news, the government's refugee plan has now been revealed for what it is. We were led to believe that we were helping people flee war, not affecting our own housing crisis and our own jobs. Please give our own a vision of a bright future. You just heard it with that mother on air. 90% of Ukraine is unaffected by the so-called war. There's plenty of room for them there. As one of your callers rang a hotel in Kyiv. That was a long time ago, but yeah, I know. We have people escaping poverty who are economic refugees coming here, getting full pensions and medical cards, but never contributing to the country, while Irish people are competing for dwindling services. I'm against them coming here, and I know full well that I'm in the majority. Martin and Leo are treating immigrants above and beyond the Irish people. So that's just a selection. There are more like that. And I think those texts are coming in again because of a fight which broke out at the City West Transit Hub. And Jonathan says that we need to be talking about that. And I'm happy to talk about any topic of conversation. This is a rather divisive one, I have to say, though. Jonathan, good morning.
Hi Neil, how are you doing?
I'm good. It is very divisive because no matter what angle I take regarding the current situation, whether it's refugees, asylum seekers, or in the case of where you're talking about in City West, international protection orders, why do we need to get that conversation going again?
I think we need to get it going, Neil, because we need some common sense in this country. It seems to be where the media, the mainstream media, to be fair, Neil, Red FM has been very good in getting this conversation going, and but the mainstream media have gone bonkers, and it's like I'm just looking at some reports there now on the Examiner. A fight broke out between 3 people. That is. Not only is it inaccurate, it's flat out wrong. Because I watched the videos last night.
So did I.
It was a full-on riot, Neil.
It looked to me as if there was a lot more than 3 people moving around anyway, for sure, or darting around, right?
Exactly, Neil. There was chairs, tables flying, bottles of water being flung at people. If one of those hits you on the head, it's game over. So look, the media now need to be brought to bear with this. They need to start telling the truth to the Irish people.
Which is what? Because there has been some pushback already this morning saying you can't keep people in these cramped conditions like City West and not expect something to kick off or tempers to get frayed.
Yeah, but Neil, they make that point, but that's just putting a sticky plaster on something. And we keep putting plasters on a problem that these politicians have created. Look, the fact of the matter is, Neil, we cannot have, this is unsustainable. Anybody thinking rationally, looking at this, it's unsustainable, and it's going to end in societal collapse of our country.
That's a bit extreme, though, isn't it? To say
but Neil, how in the name of God are we going to keep taking in hundreds of thousands of people into this country? And they're saying there's no cap. There's a housing crisis. Nobody can be housed. They're bringing in all these people. They're throwing their documents away. Now, I'm looking at an article here now from the Daily Mail, Neil, right? Albanians gang launched TikTok advertising blitz, offering stowaway lorry trips to the UK for 18 grand a pop, as they boast of 100% success. Gangs are offering stowaway lorry trips and flights using fake EU passports. Now, all of these people, Neil, are coming then from the UK over to Ireland.
Well, a portion of them.
Yeah. But Neil, as I said, there was no women and children in City West last night. It was all single male.
Because it's a different system of arrival. You know that, don't you? It's an international protection order, that can be, that's a risky business. International protection orders, because you literally don't know who's coming off the planes, what's their background, or what documentation they have. Ukrainian refugees or asylum seekers coming here have a different process, with regards to direct provision.
Yeah.
The issue recently has not just been City West, but also Killarney, right? Because there was upwards of 20 involved in, it was described at the time as a serious public order incident. It was a lot worse than that. If I remember correctly, there were knives used, wasn't there?
Oh, there was knives used and everything. Listen, we are creating a catastrophe. It's waiting to happen in this country, and I'm looking forward and I'm thinking this is going to end in a disaster for Ireland. And not only a disaster, but the Irish people, we're a sovereign nation. We're sovereign people. And like, they're discriminating against the Irish people. No, Neil, I'm not going to go on to the vaccination and all this crap, but I didn't get vaccinated, right? And I was barred out of a pub that my dad, God rest him, brought me into when I was a small lad at 2 years of age.
Yeah,
You know?
well, it was about you. Listen, why are we even revisiting that? We all know about the regulations.
I know, but I just want to make a comparison, Neil. So I was banned from my local pubs, gyms, restaurants, what have you. But now you have a situation where people are coming into the country with no passports whatsoever.
Yeah, but if somebody came into the country, then they tried to get into a pub during COVID, they would have been barred as well. Like the same rule applied in that regard. I don't see. I mean, like there's about 50 a day coming in now, apparently, for international protection applicants. 50 a day. They have there's nowhere. Like I agree in some ways. There's nowhere for them to stay. They've closed City West now. They just said can't take it. We'll have to pause it. There's no room.
But that's it, Neil. But like this is the problem. The government, they're just saying keep coming, just keep coming. I mean, Neil. And Roger O'Gorman came out last week, I believe, and he said, look, if you're coming over, we're going to put you out in the streets. That is outrageous. I would say even criminal by Roger O'Gorman. We have a right to defend our national security. And it's under threat right now.
And what's your worry that we don't know the background of the men that are coming? Is it, or what they potentially might be capable of doing, is it?
Neil, if you're a serial killer on the loose, you can come to Ireland, throw your passport in the bin, and get a new life in Ireland. That's the reality.
But that's a fairly extreme example, doesn't it?
But it's an extreme example, Neil. But I'm just telling you, we need to start talking extreme examples here because extreme stuff is happening to our nation. And Neil, can I just, if you wouldn't mind, Neil, can I read out a small extract from the proclamation?
Sure. Yeah. Remind us.
Okay. We declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished except by the destruction of the Irish people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But we can't...
I'm tired now of the politicians telling us that they have an exclusive right over the destiny of the Irish nation. That is not right. It's wrong. And in my view, Neil, it's criminal. And I know there's a lot of people out there who agree with me.
I mean, is your issue with all people coming here or the kind of risky international protection orders? Which is it,
Neil,
like?
If there's a genuine war in a country and people are fleeing it, and they're fleeing, fearing for their life, families, absolutely. That I've no problem with that. But like, they're taking the piss now. This government, the European Union, are taking the piss out of us, and we cannot have it any longer. And I'm calling on the Irish Army now as well to start talking to the President and to say, listen, this is outrageous. They read out the proclamation every Easter, Neil, up in Dublin. So what is the point?
But the proclamation talks about our freedom, right? And the proclamation was written at a time when we wanted our own rule, our own country to be sovereign without any British overlords. That's what that was about. It says nothing about closing our borders to people who want the free movement of travel. That's not what the proclamation is.
We have to protect our culture, heritage, and the people of Éire. Because if that is destroyed, then what's the point in saying we're over the land of
but why can't we be? Yeah, but why can't we be multicultural, like many other progressive societies are?
But Neil, this is not progressive. A mass riot in hotels in Killarney, mass stabbings. We're hearing about knives being brought in. We're hearing about, like, City West last night, a mass riot. I mean, this is outrageous. I'm just saying, from my opinion, Neil, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are very quiet about this. We have a right to defend our national security, and it's under threat right now from people in government. In my view, should all be arrested. The sitting TDs of this country need to start talking and stop calling us racist, because we're not racist, Neil. I know a lot of people of colour people, right? I've never said a bad word about them in my life, and a load of people in this country are the same. So they better stop using the far-right racist card, because we will bring legal proceedings against them if they keep on going.
I see that going on in the online world. I see a lot of that. There's a lot of division and a lot of bitterness and name calling. To be honest with you, I don't want to get dragged into all of that name calling. I'm just trying to facilitate as best I can. And just let me leave you with this text, right? Well done for getting racism going, but you forget that it's the people who are in charge of this mess. That's who should be going after.
Absolutely, Neil. I totally agree, Neil, and that's what I'm saying.
But that's saying that the people who are in international protection centres in like City West or Killarney, they still need to behave themselves in spite of the fact that maybe they're getting impatient, or situations aren't ideal, or everybody's crowded in on top of the other, or they're different nationalities who for some reason don't get on. It doesn't give them a free card to riot.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Neil. I mean, look, listen, this is, for me, 100%, this is now a national security issue, and the Irish Army, top brass, need to start getting involved. The President of Ireland, I wrote to him, he said it was out of his hands, but he picks and chooses his
No, I just worry, Jonathan, when I hear people saying Ireland for the Irish. I know they're not your words exactly, but protecting only our culture, Ireland only for the Irish, that scares me, because I don't want to live in a society like that. I want to be free and open and welcoming to everybody who contributes.
Absolutely, Neil, I totally agree, but Neil, we also have to preserve our culture, our heritage, and you know what I mean, because they can't just say that we just throw that in the bin and we're not Ireland anymore and we don't have no, we have a right to defend our sovereign era and the people of era. That's it.
Okay, let me get some more texts and calls if they're there. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jonathan. Text 0868 104 106.
The Neil Prendeville Show on Cork's Red FM. Our phone lines remain